So these are the brand new Titleist Vokey SM7 wedges, and I'm going to do my full review. If you like the review, hit that like button. If you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm down here at Quest Golf Academy, and I've had these wedges in my bag for the last probably about 3 weeks now. I've tested them on GC Quad with Pro V1s. I've also taken them out on the golf course and played loads of golf with them to give you the most comprehensive review of the SM wedges I can possibly make. Okay, so what is new with the SM7 wedges? Well, Vokey are claiming these are higher spinning with new groove technology for spin milled, which a lot of wedges come out and say. And they're also moving the centre of gravity as the loft changes. Now, if we go back to, I think it was SM5s, the less lofted club would have a centre of gravity that was a little bit higher, and the more lofted club would have a centre of gravity that was lower. SM6 came around and they switched that around a little bit. They found that actually they were getting better distance control, better results if the lesser lofted clubs had a centre of gravity that was lower and the higher lofted clubs had a centre of gravity that was higher in the head. SM7s, they've gone even more that way. So now, the 52 degree wedge which I've got here, the centre of gravity of this is very low in the head. As I move into the 60, the centre of gravity has moved a lot higher in the head. And they've done a lot of research around strike patterns on wedges, and they believe that this is the best way to improve distance control across wedges throughout your set, which actually makes a lot of sense, depending on strike location on your wedges. They've also brought in loads of different new bounce options and grind options, some that we've obviously seen before in the SM7s, but also some new, SM6s, but some new ones for the SM7s. And they brought in some new finishes. They've got jet black, brushed steel and taupe chrome. So I've got one of each to kind of show you how they look slightly differently. SM7s are coming in at a price point around £150, and actually when I check it today, that's also $150. So that's the kind of price point for each individual wedge. My only criticism about the design, as much as it's not changed enormously, is I actually don't like how they've stamped all the numbers of the loft, the bounce angle and the grind all on the toe. It's far too much detailed, and actually it looks quite jumbled and messy. I preferred it when they had just the loft on the toe and they had the bounce and the lie angle across the back where it says SM7. So that's my only real criticism about the looks. It just looks a little bit busy on the toe with all those numbers and letters. Now, let me start off by saying I got fitted for these wedges, and I must admit the fitting process was pretty good, and I would highly recommend it for anybody getting wedges, whether it's Vokey, whether it's Callaway, Cleveland wedges, whatever it may be. I think getting fitted for wedges is unbelievably overlooked, but significantly important to improving your scores. So I had Nick Sharples come down here to see me at Quest. We hit 9-iron shots to work out my carry distance for 9. We hit pitching wedge shots to work out my carry distance for my pitching wedge. And then we could build the correct lofting structure to give me the best gapping moving down. Which, to be fair, I probably knew near enough what those numbers were going to be, but we made sure that they were exactly precise. So I opted to go for a 52 degree gap wedge, which we bent to actually 51 to give me the best gapping, a 56 degree sand wedge and a 60 degree lob wedge. In the 52, I've gone for a 12 degree bounce and a full grind, the F grind. 56, I've gone 10 degree bounce and S grind, so it allows me to open the face a little bit. And the 12 degree of bounce in my 60 with what is a new grind, the D grind. D grind, almost a little bit like a duffer's grind. I had duff wedges, so the 60 degree was in the D grind, and it's actually become one of my favourite clubs, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Let's dive through the numbers first. So let's dive through how they were spinning, how they were carrying, and what I saw on the indoor data on GC Quad. Not that we're going to see probably loads from this. But let's start off with the 52 first. I was carrying the 52 degree, which, like I mentioned, has been bent to 51 at 121 yards. And that's perfect because my pitching wedge carries at 135 yards. So we're seeing 14 yards of difference there, which sits about right. The 56 degree spin was landing at 105 on average. So again, we see that progressive 15-yard drop off, which again is about where we need it to be. And then the 60 degree dropped down at 92 degrees of carry distance, 92 yards of carry distance, sorry. And again, we see that nice drop off, that nice dispersion. From a forgiveness level, I hit some 56 degree shots that were so-so. The shot number 3, I hit it a little bit thin, but it still went well. Still managed to get to the distance that I want it to be. And shot number 4, I must admit, this came out a little bit like a bullet and went a touch too far. So I'm still seeing slight differences. I'm not saying those numbers are perfect. They were the averages from the 10 shots or so that I hit with each of the wedges. Spin numbers we see across the board progressively improve as well. So the 52 was spinning there at 9,000 RPM. The 56 was just under 10,000. And to be fair, the 60 was spinning over 11,000 RPM. Brand new grooves with Pro V1, you're kind of going to see those spin numbers. So feel was good. They're never the softest wedges that I test, SM7s, Vokey wedges in general. I've tested softer wedges in the past. I was using the Callaway forged iron wedges, and they for me feel a lot better than these do. But if I'm honest, performance was pretty handy. So I took them out on the golf course. I went and did some testing at West Lancs, and the results were great. I was pitching in some lovely shots with the 52, hitting some full shots with the 52 and seeing great flight, great feel. Like I say, not the softest, but nothing that was really causing me any concern. Great spin numbers. I hit some lovely little chip shots around the green. Just very kind of manipulative. I could change the line, I could change the loft, I could open the head with pretty much ease with the 56 and the 60. I struggled to open the head so much with the 52, but that's down to how it's grinded at the bottom. And I just felt like they were ticking the boxes. My personal favourite finish was actually the Tour Chrome, because the reason why I say that, one, it's the classic wedge look anyway, but I actually found that the brush steel, it does say on the tag somewhere, it says on the shaft that it is going to wear over time, and so does the jet black. But I found these clubs already, in a really short period of time, starting to look quite tatty, starting to look quite scratched and damaged and old. And for me, that I just don't like that as much. So I actually prefer the Tour Chrome finish, just because for me, it's going to have a little bit more of a classic look for a longer period of time. So indoor testing on GC Quad, outdoor testing was ticking all the boxes, but we're not going to expect a lot different. SM7s, Vokey wedges have been around for a long time. Bob Vokey, you know, who is a magician with wedge design. He's still making fantastic wedges, and these are no exception at all. The question is, would they go in my bag? Well, yes, if I'm honest, they already have. They've slipped into my golf bag. They have actually replaced the Callaway forged wedges that I was testing. And like I said, the only thing that I saw was the difference in feel. Now, if the Callaway forged wedges were brand new, then maybe that would have been a different conversation. But because the forged are starting to get a little bit older in my bag, I've decided to go for some new wedges, and the SM7s are the ones. And honestly, a club that's become kind of the favourite in the bag for me is this 60 degree. The D grind, this kind of duffer's grind, and the way that the centre of gravity has been moved further up, I was just getting some good shots. I could hit it high, low, spin it, chip it, run it. And I'm not the most confident wedge player in the world, and this gave me a level of confidence which I've not received much of before with a 60 degree club. And even if I catch it a little bit thin, I felt like the bottom of the club was helping me. I didn't feel like I could fat the 60 degrees so much in that grind. So performance wise, ticks all the boxes. I love the look of these two, the jet black and the brushed steel when they came straight out the packet, but really they're going to start already getting quite kind of old and tatty, which is a real shame. But for me, the Tour Chrome, if you're looking for a club that's going to have a bit more of a longer lasting look to it, it's still going to look great in a year's time. I would highly recommend Tour Chrome. The only thing is the shine you get off the Tour Chrome, certainly on the more lofted clubs, is a little bit distracting if you're playing in the sunshine. Which I did experience a few times. But really, that's my only criticism of the Tour Chrome in the 60 degree. Vokey make great wedges. I would highly, highly recommend getting fitted for wedges. Regardless of the brand, regardless of the company, please do think about getting the correct loft structure, getting the correct bounce and the lie angle, all of these things that a good club fitter can do for you, because that makes such a big difference. Don't go too heavy loaded in the longer set of the clubs and having, you know, driver 3 wood, 5 wood, 7 wood, 3 hybrid, 4 iron, whatever, and just leave yourself with only one wedge option, because often it's not enough. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. I would highly recommend testing the SM7s. I think they're a really good wedge. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe. It keeps you connected to all of my videos. And if you are a subscriber already, hit the bell icon, which features on my homepage or through the YouTube app. And as soon as I post a video, you will be notified so you don't miss a single video. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, lots more to come. And that was the Titleist Vokey SM7 wedges.